Hey, what's going on guys? Welcome back to another tips video as far as wholesale goes. So these are 3 tips that I'm gonna share with you that I think would be helpful. I know I had a hard time with these and some of these I learned the hard way. So if I can prevent you guys from making the same mistakes I did, then that will be a useful video in my opinion. All right, so before we get into it, one of these questions I pulled from the comment section because I think it would help a lot of people out. So if you guys have questions, leave them in the comments below and I will do another tips video later on, depending on what questions I get. Okay, so let's get into this one. So the first one is pre-orders. Okay, pre-orders was a very unknown subject to me in the very beginning and I lost some money on 2 of products that I ordered in the start, okay? Pre-orders, in my opinion, if you're a beginner, stay away from them. Stay completely away from pre-orders if you're starting out and if there is no sales data on the product. There is too many unknowns when you're gonna do a pre-order. Let me give you an example. Let's say you're gonna pre-order a Star Wars lightsaber or something, a toy, a Star Wars toy, okay? And it is a brand new released product that nobody has sold before and has no sales data on the keeper graph. With that, you run a bunch of risks because you don't know how many sellers are gonna come onto that listing and either dump the price, lower the price, or what they're gonna do, okay? If they have a much larger purchase order than you, they might get it cheaper and they might lower the price. Or if a ton of people come in there and you get some newbies in there, they're gonna kill the price right from the start. That's one risk. The second risk is that you don't know if Amazon's gonna jump on the listing yet. You have no data to go off of. You don't know if Amazon's gonna come in and completely take over the listing and give nobody sales. That's the second risk. The third risk is that you have no data to go off of. You don't know if that product is gonna sell well. You don't know if that product is gonna sell bad. You don't know if that product's gonna sell 10 units a month, 100 units a month, 500 units a month. You have no idea. So if you're first starting out, then I would suggest you completely stay away from them because there's too many unknowns for you. There's too many ways for you to lose with a pre-order. Now, there are 2 ways that I would say that if you fall into these 2 categories, then yes, you can look into pre-orders because they might be of value to you. One way is that if that product has already sold before and there's extensive data for you to go off of, and it is a limited edition or like a limited product that only comes out in different waves, but there is data to go off of and you see the data, then yes, you can order a pre-order. This is the only way that I do pre-orders if there's already extensive data on that product in the keeper graph so that I can make a good buying decision on that product because I'm not going in blind. I know that Amazon has a bid on it. I know the price it sells for. I know the history it has. So if you have all of that and they're re-releasing the product, then you can jump on that product. Now, if you fall in this category, then you obviously will know more than me in this particular niche, but it is if you specialize in a specific niche, okay? Let's say you specialize in the toy category and specifically in the Star Wars category. So if there is a product that's going to be released, you're gonna know more about that product than the average seller. You're gonna know more of the Star Wars category than the average seller. So you can make a better decision as far as how you're going to sell it, if it's a winning product, if it's a losing product, because you're an expert in that niche. I've made a video about going into a specific niche. I think you should keep it wide open and go into everything. But if you do sell in a specific niche, like for example, Star Wars, you will know more than the average person buying, let's say a Star Wars lightsaber or whatever, Star Wars toy. Right? So you can make a better decision on a pre-order than an average Amazon seller or a beginner Amazon seller. All right, so that's pre-orders. If you have the data, then consider it. If you don't, stay away from it. All right, so the second tip is, should you pay to ungate yourself? Should you pay to get ungated? I covered this briefly in another video, but I wanted to get a little more in depth. The only time that I would recommend you pay to get ungated through the Funnel Guru or through some other ungating service is if you already have a winning product. If you already have a winning product in the topical category, in the supplement category, in the toy category. If you don't have a winning product, I would not recommend you pay to ungate. You're gonna pay hundreds of dollars and you're not gonna have anything to supplement that back. You're not gonna have anything to make you that money back. Let's say you find a product in the topical category that's going to make you on average $1,000 a month. And I don't know how much the Funnel Guru charges to ungate you in the topical category, but let's say $800. You're going to pay $800, but within that first month, you're going to make it back, and then you're going to keep making $1,000 off that product you paid to ungate. That makes sense, okay? That makes sense to pay to ungate. Now, let's say you want to get into the topical category, but you have no idea what you're going to buy. You have no idea if you have a good topical supplier, and you pay to ungate. I don't think that's a good way to go. I think you can find products with that $800, for example, to start making some money And when you do find a topical product that you want to sell, then okay, you can consider paying to Ungate, right? Paying to play. That is really the only time that I would recommend anybody pay to Ungate, is if you already have a product that's gonna make you that money back relatively quickly. Avoid making the newbie mistake of getting overly excited by these big categories, you know, supplements, topicals, toys, if you don't already have a product to make you money in return. All right, so that's Ungating. Pay if you already have the winning product. All right, so the third tip is, do you need a prep center? This is a common question. This was actually the one I pulled off from the comment section because I think it would help a lot of people out. It's a little confusing, right? You know, should I get a prep center? Should I not? How does Amazon prep my stuff if I don't have a prep center? Or how does my supplier prep my things if I don't have a prep center? It's very simple. I think you should have a prep center in your back pocket just in case you run into a supplier that does not ship directly to Amazon. I have a couple suppliers that don't ship directly to Amazon, so that's why it's handy for me to have a prep center ready to go in my back pocket. If I order from them, I send it to my prep center. They're all very well aware of each other, and then my prep center preps it and sends it to Amazon. Ideally though, you would want your supplier to send it directly to Amazon and then have Amazon prep all of your products. That is what I do. I buy the shipment, I give my supplier the shipping label. I don't have them prep anything. I don't have them do anything but slap the label onto the actual shipping box or shipping pallet and then send it straight to Amazon so that Amazon can prep it themselves. And the reason I do that more so than having my supplier label each individual unit, which some do, some will offer that for an additional fee, I would rather Amazon do it because there's less room for error. They know exactly what they're doing. And if they mess up, they are liable. And I already know that they prepped every single product of mine. As opposed to if I have one of my suppliers, you know, label each individual unit and then send it off. Yeah, I might save a little bit of money, but they don't deal with this kind of thing on a regular basis. They're not always working with Amazon sellers, and they're not as, you know, savvy when it comes to Amazon's prepping policy and procedures. So there's more room for error there. I would rather pay a little bit more to have Amazon do it and Amazon do it correctly the first time to avoid any sort of headache. Now that's just me. If you run into a supplier that is willing to prep to a certain degree your shipments and you want to do it to save a little bit of money, that's up to you. You know, that's a decision you're going to have to make. But for me personally, I would rather pay a little bit more, make a little bit less money in order to avoid any headaches down the road. All right, so that's prep centers. I think it's very valuable to have one in your back pocket, and you are gonna run into some suppliers that don't wanna ship directly to Amazon for whatever reason they have, right? So if you have a prep center, then you avoid all the headache altogether because you're just gonna have your supplier send it to your prep center and then they will prep everything and ship it directly to Amazon. Like I said, ideally you would want them to send it directly to Amazon so that it gets there faster and you can start making money and selling it faster, right? But those are just 3 more tips when it comes to wholesale that I wanted you guys to be aware of because I do think this can help you, and I do think some of these, like the pre-orders, can help you avoid making a costly mistake. All right guys, so that's 3 more tips that I think would be useful to you. If you have any more questions, then just leave them down below and I will make a video about them in the future. All right guys, I really appreciate you guys watching until the end, and I will see all of you in that next video.